let me give you old dad experience here. Okay.
Sure.
And it's this, like when you have more and more kids, then like the work is changing the diapers, taking care of the kid. The work is, you know, getting them out of the house so mom can relax. And then when the baby goes to bed and like you stop being dad, then you get to relax and rejuvenate for a couple hours before you fall asleep. There's a better way, because when you have 10 kids, there's always one awake. You never get you never get them all to sleep. Like the teenagers stay up later than I do. So I never get all the kids to bed. I never get that. So how do I rest? Like if there's always a diaper to change, right? Or a paper to grade, or a term paper to help them edit, or grass to tell them to go cut, or dishes to tell them to do. Or last night late, we're talking about what my kid's majoring on in college. My married kid calls me and he's buying a home. And so we're talking about how to structure some of the closing costs and down payment. It never stops. It never stops. And they don't get to go to bed, right? I don't get to put those issues to bed. I don't get to stick a pacifier in the 22-year-old to get stuff talked. So what am I supposed to do? So I have to, Nathan, look at it and see, I love dealing with my children. I'm good at dealing with my children. Therefore, I love doing what I'm good at. I'm good at doing what I love. And so it's not wearing me out. It's not stressful. Okay? It's funny that like we look for time to relax and then we'll go work out and sweat our butts off, right? That's hard work and it's still relaxing, right? You can go work out really hard, break a sweat, and you're like, oh, I'm so sore. It's great. You know, what is that? I mean, I'm as soon as I get off with you, I'm heading to the Y, because I didn't get to do it this morning because I had an early business meeting. And I'm going to go sweat, and then I'm going to get in a sauna and sweat more. And I'm going to say, oh, I'm exhausted. I feel great. So what I'm saying is when you're dealing with that baby and the baby won't stop crying and the baby won't stop pooping and the baby won't stop screaming, what if you could never put them to sleep? How would you relax then? And so you have to start telling yourself, this activity itself is an end in itself. I'm rejuvenating simply internally. I'm rejuvenating because I love being with this kid. I enjoy taking him on a walk. Soothing a screaming baby is one of the most soothing things ever. You have to change it to where you are relaxing because you're doing what you know you're supposed to do. You love doing it. You're fulfilling your duties, and God is blessing you for that. That's the rejuvenation. Don't wait till the kid goes to bed to rejuvenate. Rejuvenate when the kid's screaming his head off. That's when the grace really flows. That's when you're able, if you can tap in and rejuvenate then you have beat the whole system. Because everybody else is waiting till the kids go to bed to learn how to relax. And what I'm saying is, learn to relax when the kid's screaming their head off. If you can do that, you've mastered the situation and you're truly free. Otherwise, your kid's controlling you when you get to relax. And when you have 10 kids, they ain't all going to bed. So part of having a peaceful life with a busy family life and a busy work schedule and all these things that we get busy with is learning how to be that prayerful hermit, that monk inside, the hermit, the desert father in your heart, no matter what's going on around you. And you can be perfectly at peace and rejuvenating, even with twins screaming their head off as you hold them both. And I know that because I did it 7 years ago when we had the twins, and you hold both kids and they're screaming their heads off. So again, I sound like I'm preaching, but I guess that's why I'm here. The problem isn't that we don't get enough time alone. The problem is that we do the things that God places before us with the wrong mindset. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's an elevated version of what I was trying to express, which is that we should stop viewing work as bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Exactly right. That's the way
work
to do
doesn't
it.
have to be tiring and exhausting, but it's okay to be on longer than we think that we should be.
But isn't it funny that you work out and that's tiring and exhausting and we love it?
Yeah.
And we want to do it.
I like to break it down. I describe it as kind of like in the world of fitness alone, right? I lived with several track athletes. I was in ROTC and stuff in college, and I was always admiring the fact that my one roommate that I lived with all 4 years was very dedicated to track and cross country, and he had active recovery days, and then there was like pure rest days.
It's
And so
nice.
I always try to
I
describe to
like
people,
that.
it's like there's things like working out, there's things like prayer, there's things like reading, there's things like just playing with your kids that are active recovery,
I like
where it
that.
doesn't feel
I
like
like
you're
that.
like totally, like
Oh, yeah,
bummed
yeah.
out, vegged out, but you're kind of still growing in some capacity, but it is recovery stuff for you,
And
because
by
it's
the way, I
enjoyable.
endorse totally getting the kids. I'm not saying don't put the kids. My wife and I, once you have teenagers, they babysit, and you and your wife get the hell out of Dodge and
Right.
go, go to dinner. It's wonderful. So I mean, yeah, of course we want to get away from the kids. It's not like, oh, I want to be with the kids all the time. No, I'm very comfortable saying, no, mom's first. You guys are out of here.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. But I like that idea of active recover versus passive recover. Is
Like,
that what you said?
yeah, or just like total rest, where
Yeah,
you're like
I like that.
truly taking the total day off from working out.
It's
You
awesome.
never get that total day, obviously, as a father, but yeah, you have those times, even with the teenage kids up, where it's like you're not actively, like you describe in the book, like the toddlers, you like are watching them constantly, and you just have to make sure that they're not, breaking their necks. But yeah, trying to enter into some of that other time and expanding your definition of that total rest is really
Yeah, total
important.
rest. Yeah, the rest is internal. Be still and know that I'm God.
Yeah.
We have to learn to be still amidst the storm. Mark
Hmm.
4, my other little book called Still Amidst the Storm, somewhere around here. But that whole book is about Jesus is in the boat with the apostles. The storm rages. They're about to capsize. The apostles look at Jesus and say, Teacher, do you not care if we perish? And he stands up and says to the wind and storm, peace, be still. And then he looks at them and he says, have you no faith? So when the storm is erupting in your life, with the kids screaming, the bills piling up, the wife is stressed out, do you have no faith? Are you going to look at our Lord and say, don't you care if I perish? Of course he does. He
Hmm.
wants you to be in that storm for a reason. And so peace be still. You can look around and use the same words as Christ and just say, peace be still. Everything around you can stay chaotic internally. You can be as peaceful as you desire to be.